Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is finally happening. For the first time in the 101-year history of the New York Football Giants, I believe that they are tanking. Because as I watched the game yesterday, I did not feel like the New York Giants were doing everything they possibly could to go and win that football game. And when I went and punished myself and went and rewatched the game this morning, I was reaffirmed that the Giants were not doing everything it takes to win. Because some of the things that went down in that football game yesterday, the only way that it makes sense is that the New York Giants were actively trying to maybe not lose on purpose, but definitely not do whatever it takes and make the smart decisions to win. Because there were not many smart things that the New York Giants did yesterday. So I think for the first time they are tanking. I think it is the right move because if you get that number 1 overall pick and you're able to trade down and get a similar package that the Chicago Bears got when they traded out of pick 1 for the Panthers to move up for Bryce Young, that can expedite your rebuild. I do think the Giants are a really bad football team. I don't think they necessarily need to tank to lose. But some of the things that they are doing at this point are inexcusable, and they only make sense if they are actively trying to tank. Number 1, how is Younghoe Koo still on this roster? Why are the Giants making calls on 3rd and 20 to set up 51-yard kicks in a blizzard for Younghoe Koo? How is that doing what it takes to win a football game? It's not. He's missed 3 kicks now in the last 2 games. And it may not even be 3 kicks because I don't even know if you can categorize when he put his foot to the turf in Foxborough and he didn't actually kick the football. I don't know if you can actually say that is a miss. But he has attempted 3 field goals in the last 2 games, and the New York Giants have 0 points to show for it. At this point, we know that Younghoe Koo is not a good kicker. We know that Younghoe Koo is not going to help the New York Giants win football games. He's not going to be the kicker next year. So why is he still on the team if you're trying to win games? Maybe I'm thinking too logically, and I need to put myself in the chair of the Giants who never, ever, or I will say rarely ever, do the right thing. I promise you what you saw late in that ball game where it was 3rd and 20 and Mike Kafka decided to hand the ball off to get Younghoe Koo into field goal range to kick a 51-yarder. That is not what you do when you're trying to win a football game, especially when you're down by 8 with 13 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. You're telling me you're playing for a field goal down 8 after your kicker already missed a 50-yarder? That's just not winning football. That is not what winning teams do. Winning teams don't essentially punt a 3rd down conversion away where it could be a defensive holding for 5 yards, where it could be a pass interference and then it's automatic 1st down, a roughing the passer. There are so many defensive penalties that could happen that would result in a 1st down. Reminder, you were playing the 3-10 Washington Commanders. They're not the most disciplined team, but instead you had Dart take the snap and hand the ball off on 3rd and 20 just 8 days after you said, Mike Kafka, we're going out and we're going to be aggressive. No, you're not. You weren't aggressive at all yesterday. You coached like you were told from upstairs that losing may be better for you, because that's the only way to describe some of the things that we saw yesterday. Like somehow Jaylen Hyatt still being on this football team. Playing Jalin Hyatt is a commitment to losing. You know why? Because in earlier weeks when you were trying to win football games, he was a healthy scratch. So why did he play yesterday? Why does he have a roster spot? You know who Jalin Hyatt is. He's not an NFL receiver. He doesn't get open. He can't be trusted. He can't catch the football. He doesn't know the playbook. He doesn't run routes. Why was he playing yesterday? unless you do think that he's still a good player, and then that's a completely different conversation. And if you want to tell me the Giants aren't tanking, then again, we need to have a very different conversation, because I don't think anyone in that building knows what it takes to win football games anymore. You're telling me, as you're trying to put points on the board in the closing moments of the first half, you're drawing up a backside 18-yard dig over the middle of the field for Jalin Hyatt? You can't tell me that you thought that was the best play possible for the New York Giants. And if you do, yeah, you are not fit for this job. Shout out to Doug Analytics for this. It paints the picture of the Jalin Hyatt experience. Giants quarterbacks have thrown 7 interceptions when targeting Jalin Hyatt in his career. That's 9.6% of his targets, the highest rate of any wide receiver with 30-plus targets since 2022. When they've targeted Hyatt this year, he has 5 catches on 14 targets, catching 36% of the passes that are thrown his way for 35 yards. And 3 interceptions. He has 5 catches on the year, and when he's been targeted, there have been 3 interceptions. One coming yesterday on the backside dig that cost the New York Giants points at the end of the half, and the one that lost them the game against the Detroit Lions just a couple of weeks ago. You cannot tell me that playing Jalin Hyatt, incorporating him into the game plan, and throwing him the football is a winning mindset. You can't. I see right through your BS, unless the Giants are that big of a joke. It's one of 2 things. You're the worst football team in history, or you're tanking. Which one is it? There's nothing in between. There's nothing. It is actually sad how bad that Jalin Hyatt is. Like, I loved the pick. There was a lot of reason to love the pick, but man, I never in a million years thought that it was going to be this bad for him in the National Football League. I just don't see how it's possible. We do have a returning sponsor on today's show, and that is GLD. With the holiday season here, if you're looking to get a chain or a pendant from the best in the business, listen up and go to GLD.com. Use that promo code CHAT, and you can get 50% off your order. Let's be real. Buying men's jewelry used to be a nightmare, especially during the holidays when you wanted something meaningful that wouldn't fall apart. It was low-quality junk that snapped after a week, or it was insanely overpriced with ridiculous markups. That's why I rock with GLD. And you can too with 50% off when you use promo code CHAT. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank, and unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold, none of that cheap stuff. That's what I love about GLD. Every single stone is meticulously hand set, and every single piece is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last for the rest of your life, and they hooked me up with this sick chain and New York Knicks pendant. You can get the same if you know a Knicks fan in your life, a Giants fan in your life, and they're looking for a sweet chain. Go to GLD.com. Use that promo code CHAT. You get 50% off. They have official collabs with the NFL, NBA, WNBA, MLB, NCAA, MLS, and even DC Comics. Work hard and change the game. Right now, GLD is making holiday shopping easy for a limited time only. New customers get an insane deal. When you use the code CHAT, you get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with the code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that Chat Sports sent you. Another sign of tanking for me yesterday, or just the most incompetent football team in the 101 years of this franchise. I can't believe we're doing this again. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. Remember, it was the play that looked like a designed quarterback run from Jaxson Dart, lined up in the shotgun, took the snap, there was an orbit motion, looked that way, and then ran back to the line of scrimmage. On the surface, when I immediately watched it, I was like, all right, that's all right. I don't mind running Jaxson Dart up the middle on 1st and goal, using his legs from the 1-yard line, try to score a touchdown. And then I heard Jaxson Dart speak to the media after, and he said, yeah, tried to put a little trick pass on it. What do you mean you tried to put a little trick pass on it? Are we back to running trick plays from the 1-yard line on 1st and goal? like you did. What was it, week 1? Was week 1 the fat boy touchdown that we tried to throw to Marcus Bowe in the end zone? Week 2? Week 2, week 1, doesn't matter. The Giants are back to trying to run trick plays from the 1-yard line on 1st and goal. Are you serious? That's what you think is going to have you score points and win football games? Trick plays from the 1-yard line? Come on, man. I ain't that stupid. And I hope that you're not that stupid either. The only way to describe how the New York Giants played football yesterday, what they are doing to try to win football games, the only way to explain it is that they're actually trying to lose games. And maybe not as severe as trying to lose games, but not doing the things that are necessary to go and win football games. You cannot tell me employing Younghoe Koo at this point is doing the best in everything you can to win a football game. You cannot tell me that rostering Jalin Hyatt, manufacturing touches for him, and throwing him the football is what is going to help the Giants win. And running trick plays once again from 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. That is not trying to win football games. It's only one of two things, and I know that's pretty cut and dry. You're either extremely stupid or you're trying to tank. And somehow, some way, I find myself mixing it all together, and maybe it's a little bit of both. And you know what? It's finally the smart thing to do. Because if you can land that number 1 pick, and the only way you're going to do that is by losing every single game the rest of the way, or beating the Raiders and the Raiders beating the Chiefs in Week 18, you can get that first pick. You can really flip this franchise on its head from being the worst team in the NFL since 2017 to a team that might be able to win a game against the Dallas Cowboys or win a game against the Commanders. First time in like 30 years the New York Giants have got swept in back-to-back seasons against the Commanders. That is embarrassing. If you want the Giants to get the number 1 pick, hit that thumbs up icon. I want to close out the show quickly talking about this. Can we stop with the Jaxson Dart taking too many hits stuff? The Jaxson Dart narrative that he needs to change his style of play, that the way that Jaxson Dart is playing isn't good for himself and it's going to cut his career short. Can we stop? Did I think it was a little bit ridiculous when he went out and said 2 weeks ago, this is how I played since high school, go wait, watch the high school tape? Yeah, I think that was a bit ridiculous. But that's who he is. He's a football player. He wants contact. He's going to take contact. And you know what happens? When you play quarterback, you're going to get hit. You are. Shout out to Jordan Ron of ESPN. Does an awesome job covering this team. Said the Giants thought Jaxson Dart did a nice job avoiding unnecessary hits on Sunday versus the Commanders. He slid, scrambled, and picked the soft edge to get down and protect the ball. It's not like he's taking guys head on anymore, Coach Mike Kafka said. I agree. I thought that Jaxson Dart did a really good job against New England outside of one play, taking care of himself. And I thought he did a really good job yesterday taking care of himself. And then I wanted to go to this Jordan on tweet. And I understand he's got a job to do. And he's just tweeting out a fact. Jaxson Dart was evaluated for a concussion in the 4th quarter Sunday against the Commanders. That's now the 5th time in 10 games dating back to preseason he's had to be checked during a game. Again, my tweet's not directed at Jordan. My tweet is directed to all the weirdos out there on Twitter that want to peddle the nonsense that Jaxson Dart is taking too many hits and not protecting himself. So what's the key here? For the 5th time in 10 games, he's gone to the blue medical tent, right? My thought. So if the refs, medical team, spotters are 0 for 4 when having Jaxson Dart checked for a concussion, making him leave the game, maybe the problem is the process and not Jaxson Dart. Because the 4 times that the medical team, the spotters, the refs made Jaxson Dart leave to go into the blue medical tent, he's never had a concussion. The one time he did have a concussion, he laid on the ground at Soldier Field unconscious without moving, and he wasn't checked. And he wasn't sent to the blue medical tent. He actually went back into the game, and the Giants reported the issue. So what's the problem here? Jaxson Dart's taking too many hits, or that the NFL and their spotters are 0 for 4 when trying to protect him? Maybe that is the problem. And the problem is with the process and not actually Jaxson Dart. And I'll just say this too. Forcing Dart to stop being a runner, the idea that you're going to neuter the running out of Jaxson Dart, that is a terrible idea, ladies and gentlemen. That would be like taking Jalen Hurts and not letting him run. That would be like letting Cam Newton be a in-the-pocket statue type of quarterback. The reason Jaxson Dart was successful in the SEC, the reason Jaxson Dart was successful at the start of his rookie year, the reason Jaxson Dart was taken in the first round was because of his dual threat ability. And if you're going to take that away from him, he ain't going to be a first-round quarterback. Jaxson Dart, if you only stick him in the pocket and only allow him to throw from the pocket and never to call quarterback runs, he's not going to live up to the hype that we all believe that he has. Look, is there a way to be smart about it? Of effing course there's a way to be smart about it. He should have taken that hit against the New England Patriots. But outside of that, how many hits over the last couple of weeks has he really taken that have been that bad? Like, the concussion that he suffered wasn't even on a hit. It was when he was going down, lost the football, and his head smacked into the frozen ground. Anybody would have got a concussion on that play. Like, come on. We can't take away his superpower. You don't do that. You don't take away someone's superpower. And his is running around, being an athlete, being a football player. I don't think it's a coincidence that after he had that 30-yard run, he actually started to play good football. I don't think there's a coincidence behind that. He plays quarterback. He plays football, tackle football. He's going to get hit. He's going to be all right. And I hope he continues to run. And I hope you continue to take care of yourself, Jaxson Dart, because for you, most important ability is availability. And when you're in the game, Giants can win. When you're not in the game, Giants are in trouble. I want you to be you. The Giants need you to be you. But we need you out there too. So walk that slippery slope, but keep doing what you're doing. I think you're on the right track. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, @MarshallGreen_.